sound check that everyone can see the slides that I'm presenting and can hear me clearly.
I can hear you. I can see the slides. Yes.
Perfect. All right. As Greg said, thank you everyone for joining this webinar. I'm joined here by Mitch Brown, and we're going to be talking to you about Zetadox. So, I'll give you a quick run through of the agenda. We'll start off with an Equisys overview for those of you who may be new to Equisys, and then I'll take you through a Zetadox overview. Now, if some of you may already know, but we have released a new version of Zetadox, version 8, and I'll also be talking to you about the new features that come with this. I'll then take you through the purchase options so you can just get a brief understanding of what opportunities are available to you when it comes to purchasing. And then, of course, the all-important demo, which Mitch will be taking you through. And then we'll have a session for Q&A. Now, as Greg says, if you have questions as we're going, please ask by typing your question into the chat box. But if you'd rather wait, there will be some time at the end as well. Okay, so Equisys, what are we, what do we do? Well, we're a software company that was founded in 1987, and we have a global customer base. Though we started out in London, England, we now service the whole of Europe, as well as USA and Canada and the Caribbean islands. And we specialize in electronic document management. As you can see in the middle there are the three logos of the products that we sell or are soon to be selling in the USA. Zetadox, which I'll be talking to you about today, and that's our electronic document capture, delivery and storage software. ZetaFax, which is our fax server software solution. And then Zetadox Expenses is our electronic expense management solution that will be available later on in the year. Now, I'm talking to you about Zetadox today, but of course, if you have any questions with regards to ZetaFax, or if you'd like to have a little bit more information on Zetadox Expenses that will be available later, I'll be happy to take those via email as well. So who are our customers? Well, our customers are NAV users, mainly SMB, and of course we focus across all industries. So let's get a little bit more into Zetadox. As I say, it's our electronic document capture, delivery and storage solution. It's a certified add-on for NAV all the way up to version 2016. Now, I'm not sure what versions you're currently running at the moment, but the good thing that you can know is that Zetadox is certified for whatever version that you're running. Zetadox offers several document management features that eliminate or significantly reduce things like manual processing, the need for processing one by one, repetitive tasks, and human error. We've been in business for quite a while, and we've had fantastic feedback from our customers, and here are some examples. One customer said, Zetadox saves us $156 per week on stationery and postage alone. When you're dealing with physical paperwork, you're dealing with a lot of costs and things that you wouldn't really think that you had to pay for. The paper, the ink, the storage of that paper, the storage of the documents that you need to keep for a number of years. So it will save you time if you have an electronic way of doing this. And that's another thing that our customers are saying, that Zetadox is saving them at least 2 hours. Another thing that customer says is, Zetadox does all of the hard work and my team doesn't need to exit NAV. Now I'll talk to you a little bit more about the main features that we have within Zetadox. So we have delivery features. Zetadox will integrate with your email application. So as I gave a quote from a previous customer, you don't have to leave NAV. When you want to send a report using NAV, you don't have to then go and open Outlook and click send. As soon as you click send from NAV, Zetadox will ensure it gets sent from your email application.
Oh, hi, Loretta. I'm sorry, can I just stop you for a second? Can you possibly show your full screen? Like I'm seeing part of the screen, and then like the next slide is off to the right.
You're seeing the presentation mode. Is that better?
There you go. That's right. That's a lot better. Thank you.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So we have batch processing. Now, one of the things that slows down the work that people have to do is having to process things one by one. Zetadox will eliminate that for you by allowing you to process things in batches. And Mitch will show you this later on, but you're able to filter via a number of different things: name, date, whatever it is that makes life more convenient for you, but it allows you to do it in batches. We also have templates and overlay. Now, anytime you send out a report, for example, an electronic invoice, what you don't want to have to do is have to create a type of document that you want to put all the information on all the time. You want there to be a template that you can use that has a certain look and feel that you can send out to your customers, so you have that continuity every time you're communicating with them. Datadog will allow you to have those templates, and it will also allow you to have overlays. So for example, if you are sending out reminder letters for payments, what Datadog will do is understand which template needs to be used for which type of reminder, so that your final reminder letters, for example, have a different look and feel from your initial reminder letters. Again, gives you that ability to have better customers, to give better customer service to your customers. We also have automatic attachments. Now, one of the most common human errors within a company is someone will forget to send an attachment. I did that this morning. What Datadog will do is actually allow you to specify attachments that are going to go out automatically with a report. So prime example, an electronic invoice, you want the terms and conditions to go out with that, because that is the most common thing that customers request. With Datadog, you can make sure that with every electronic invoice report that's sent out, the terms and condition is attached with that. And finally, another main feature with our delivery section is that you're able to specify delivery rules. What you want to make sure is that the report goes to the right person that it needs to go to and any additional recipients. Datadog will allow you to specify that and change that as you need to, so that the right people see the right reports. You can also specify whether these people need to be CC'd or blind copied, and you can specify the different formats, hard copy, fax, or email. Moving on to the capture features, some of the main features within this area is that we have shared document queues. So when you take a physical document and you scan it into the system using our barcode feature, what will happen is the documents will go into something that we call a document queue. And that document queue is accessible by anyone who has the right license. So that if someone is working on a document or someone links it to a record in NAV, that document will go away so that there isn't any duplication of effort. This is something very important because duplicated efforts will only increase the time that your staff are spending working on documents. And as I mentioned, we have document linking. So when you scan all these documents into the system, you want a way of making sure that they're connected to the relevant record in NAV. Datadog will allow you to do this. You can do this one by one, or you can do this in a batch as well. And also we have searchable PDFs. So you don't have that static document that you can't do anything with, but the documents are dynamic, meaning you can actually use the content to search for them. And finally, our storage capabilities. Datadog will store documents and files within the network folder or SharePoint, whichever one you would prefer to use. So with these type of features, what Datadog will allow you to do is reduce your costs significantly. I've given you some quotes from customers that have spoken about their experience with Datadog, but you will also be able to experience that reduced cost. You'll also be able to provide better customer service. The great thing about better customer service is that increases your profit as you have more customers. With reduced cost, this makes you a more profitable business. It's also eco-friendly. If you don't have heaps and heaps of papers lying around everywhere, you're a much more green company. And if, I'm not sure where some of you are located, but I know with some locations, businesses have targets for being green. And Datadog will help you move in that direction. Right, I'm just checking to see if I had any questions, and I don't. Okay. So let's talk about version 8, more powerful and more convenient. It's been out for about a month now, but for those of you who aren't aware of the features that come with version 8, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Now, before I get going, I just want to make it clear that version 8 is the features of server installation are available for those that are running NAV 2015 and onwards. So just what just a quick brief description of server installation. Currently, Zetadox is installed on the client, but with version 8, you have the ability to install Zetadox on the server, which makes it a lot faster and accessible for the different clients. But again, this is available for NAV 2015 and onwards. So we have new delivery capabilities. Consolidated reports. Now, sometimes you're sending out, your batch emails, and one customer has got multiple reports that need to be sent out. What Zetadox will do is understand that this customer has, say, 5 reports that need to be sent, and instead of sending 5 different emails, it will just make sure that one email is sent with the different reports all attached in that one email. So it just makes it a lot more cleaner for the customer. There's also automatic delivery. This is something that a lot of customers had asked us for, and now here it is. You can actually automate when you'd like deliveries to go out, so it's more convenient. So for example, you can say that you want deliveries to be sent out at 1 p.m. and you can also make sure that they are automated to go every single time an activity is done. So for example, once you've sent an invoice, or rather once you've posted an invoice, they will get emailed out. We also have template creation. So if you need to create a template, you're able to do this with Word layout reports independently. It's a lot faster for you. With the other version, you have to contact your partner, who would then be able to do that for you. So this just gives you, the customer, a bit more power. And then we support different clients, desktop, tablet, and the phone, on-prem or in the cloud. Now the new capture capabilities, we have automatic and scheduled linking. So you can have documents that are in the shared document queue that I spoke about earlier, linked after a certain activity or according to a schedule. Again, you can use times, or you can say, any document that's in the document queue, allow it to be immediately linked to the relevant record in NAV. We also have lock mode. So documents that are in the document queue and are in use are automatically put into lock mode, so no one else can make any changes at the same time, and there can be some confusion there. There are also some advanced search capabilities. You can now add additional metadata to search for files in SharePoint. So this just gives you a bit more power when you're searching. And now we have a fact box. I really love this. You can now view attachments for a record as well as drag and drop them in the list view. So now you no longer need to go on a record in NAV and double click, and then that way you'll be able to see the document. But you can just click on it once, and on the right hand side will appear a fact box which will show all of the documents that are stored according to that record. And then finally, we have customized SharePoint subfolders. So you can now create custom SharePoint subfolders according to the content within the NAV record. So this just gives you a bit more sophistication when you're saving those documents in SharePoint. Now before I move on, I know that's a lot of information. As I say, this is just really high level, and when you see the demonstration, it will give you a bit more clarity, but I just want to give you that information so that you have it before we get into it. Okay, so purchase options. Some of you will already be aware of this, but I just want to briefly explain. We have different editions, delivery and capture, and then we have different levels, essentials and plus. They're quite self-explanatory. Essentials are our fundamental, and then plus is our more advanced features. You can buy delivery essentials and then capture plus, or you can buy capture essentials and delivery plus. You can switch and swap however you would like the different editions, but it's key to note that plus, anything that's in essentials is in plus. So you would never need to buy delivery essentials and delivery plus. And the difference between the two mainly is plus gives you the ability to have customization. And then we have technical support, which is always 20% of the total cost. I get a lot of customers asking me what their options are when they purchase, so just wanted to make you aware of that. All right, now with that, I'm going to hand you over to Mitch, who's going to take you through the demo. So Greg, do you want to give Mitch the presenter rights?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like the screen has updated. Thank you, Loretta, and thank you, Greg. So based on kind of what Loretta's been discussing, I'm put together a couple scenarios that I'm going to walk you through as to how we've seen customers deploy Zetadocs in a real-world scenario. And to start off, I'm in Outlook, as you can see here. I'm working as April in the finance team. And you can see I've received an email from Terry with a purchase order attached. Now, this purchase order could be crucial down the road. We may need it as kind of proof that the sale took place. So users are going to want to be able to have easy access to this documentation. So let's go into NAV, and I'm going to go into our sales orders. And rather than have you watch me key in the details, I've actually already put a sales order in the system. Actually, though, before I jump into the sales order, I did want to highlight something that Loretta mentioned, and that's the fact that with the latest edition of Zetadocs, you don't need to drill down into a specific sales order to see the supporting documentation. So on the sales order list view, I can go ahead and bounce between various orders, and over on the right-hand side, you can see that the information updates. So now you can see when I'm looking at order 1007, a list of all supporting documentation that has been attached to that order throughout the quoting process is visible to users directly from within NAV. But let's go into the sales order that I entered the details of earlier. So here you can see we've got an order for Selangorian. We put an order for 10 wheel spokes. And currently there are no documents associated to that. So what I want to do at this point is I want to take this email and archive it against the sales order. And in order to do that, I just take the email and simply drag and drop it onto the documents window. Now, when a user does that, what's happening behind the scenes is we're actually taking a copy of that email, storing it either to SharePoint or the Zetadocs network folder archive, and we tag the email with relevant metadata fields that will link it back to this transaction. Now, this documents window that you see here can be applied throughout NAV, so you can attach it to the customer vendor card to store information that relates to the business relationships, such as W-9s or contracts, and then information that relates to transactions, such as purchase orders, attach those directly to the sales order in question. Now, I dragged and dropped an email. You can drag and drop really any file type, whether it be a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet, a PDF. And anything that's attached to, in this case, the sales order, is going to follow the transaction through its life cycle. So once this order ships and we have a posted shipment and a posted invoice, all the documents are going to flow through. So anything that was attached to the sales order will be visible from that posted invoice. Once again, just to ensure that people don't have to search for the information they need, all they have to do is pull up the relevant transaction within NAV, and they have access to all the information. Just to give you a real-world example, I had a customer that spent an hour looking for supporting documentation to a sales order that was over 8 years old. They didn't realize that they used Zetadocs at the time, so they spent all this time searching until someone had the idea, maybe we should check Zetadocs. When they did that, they had access to all the information in a matter of seconds. So that's kind of an initial as far as the capture. I'm going to show you some more capture elements in just a few moments. But I did want to move on to the delivery side. One of the ways that we've seen Zetadocs deployed probably the most frequently is in a way to streamline the delivery of items such as order confirmations, purchase orders. For today, I'm actually going to send out a group of posted sales invoices, and I'm also going to show you a neat feature in delivering out reminder letters as well. But to start off with Zetadocs, and as Loretta mentioned, we have a new version, version 8, that has a more server-side architecture. What that enables users to do is go into, let's say, your posted sales invoices, and I want to send out all of our invoices. So I'm just going to go in and click Send. Now, what happens behind the scenes is Zetadocs is going to look at, in this case, the customer card to see if we have any customer-specific rules that have been set up in the system. With Zetadocs, you can specify one or multiple users to receive an invoice when it gets sent out. So here we've got a list of all of the invoices. And Loretta also mentioned we now have a consolidate email function. When I click on that, all emails for, let's say, Selangorian will be grouped together into a single email that gets sent out. So I'm going to go ahead and send these. And just so we don't have to wait on things, I actually sent a batch out before the demonstration started so you can see what the consolidated feature looks like. So in this scenario, you can see I've got an email that we sent out to Selangorian, and it says, please find the attached invoices, and it will list the first three invoice numbers. After that, it's going to do a ... That way, if you have 10 invoices, you don't have a really long subject line or area within the covering email. Now, the covering email can be customized, so you can personalize this however you would like. And as you can see, attached to the email, we have a copy of the 4 invoices that were part of this run, along with terms and conditions of sale. So each invoice would be its own individual PDF document, as you can see here. And then we also have a conditions of sale. Now, Loretta mentioned before today she had actually sent something out and she forgot to add an attachment. One of the nice things about Zetadocs, you can have a consistent look and feel to all of your invoices that are going out, and you can ensure that items like terms and conditions are automatically attached. Now, in addition to automating the delivery of these invoices, Zetadocs is also going to automatically store a copy against the relevant posted sales invoices within the system. So not only will you have visibility into the documents that have been archived using the drag and drop feature, for example, you'll also have visibility as to what was sent out. And all of those, when they're sent out, would be included in the fact box that you see over on the right-hand side. So that's just how we can send out a batch of invoices. But I wanted to show you a new feature that we've added with Delivery Plus. Just so you know, the delivery capability I showed with invoices is part of our Delivery Essentials edition. Now I'm going to move on to Delivery Plus and how it can be used to streamline the sending of reminder letters. Now, the process of sending these out is going to be slightly different. I'm actually going to print these to a Zetadocs printer. And the reason for that is we can then run some custom code behind the scenes. Now, when you send out your statements or reminder letters, I'm sure that you've had customers that have called you up saying, thank you for the statement or the reminder, but can you please send me copies of all the associated invoices? Well, typically that means going to a file cabinet or printing those out and emailing them to the customer. Well, with Zetadocs, we can actually streamline that and have all of those invoices automatically be attached, in this case, to the reminder letters that we're sending out. If you are sending out statements, the process would be exactly the same. You would just have the invoices being attached to statements rather than the reminders. So let's go into our sent items and take a look at what we just sent out. So here, when I go into my sent items, I've got several reminders. Now within NAV, when you send out your reminder letters, they have a reminder level associated with them that will be based on, how past due those invoices are. So I'm going to go and start looking at a reminder level 1. So let's open up this email so you can see. So here we've got a template that's associated with all of our reminder level 1s, where it's saying our records show that you are past due. When I open up the reminder, in addition to the reminder letter itself, we've also automatically attached copies of the associated invoices. So this is no longer a two-step process or sending out your reminders and having people call. The process of sending your reminders to your customers gives them all the information they need in order to initiate payment. So that's a level 1. What happens if someone's a little bit more past due? Well, obviously the language needs to be a lot stronger in the reminder letter that we're sending out. So let's go ahead and find a final reminder in the system. So here we go. We've got one for Guilford Water Department. And when I open up the email, immediately you can see at the top of the message, we have final reminder. If anything, this might prompt a phone call from your customer. The terminology is saying, your account is still past due. And when you open up the attachment, we have stationary overlay that says this is the final demand. And once again, we've automatically attached the associated invoices. So the process that could have been a multi-step process in the past, Zetadox can do with a couple clicks of a mouse. So that kind of gives you an overview of how Zetadox can be used on the delivery side. Now I want to just quickly touch on some of the advanced capture elements in addition to the drag and drop feature that I showed earlier. So just to quickly highlight that, I'm going to go into our purchase invoices. And this is probably one of the other most popular ways I've seen Zetadox deployed, is being able to capture supplier invoices when they come in. So to highlight the steps and how this is used, for example, let's say if you're still receiving a lot of paper invoices from vendors, the way Zetadox can streamline getting those into the system is pulling up the relevant record within NAV. As you can see, I've pulled up the appropriate purchase invoice. And in the ribbon at the top of your screen, we've got a print barcode option. And what that's going to do is it's going to print a barcode representation of the purchase invoice number that most users will print off on a small footprint label printer. The sticky label that produces will be placed on the first page of the vendor invoice. They'll set that one aside, go through, and process all of the ones that have arrived that morning. Once they've completed with, processing all the paper invoices that arrived, the user can walk over, in this case April, walk over to a network scanner, take that stack, scan those documents into the system. What Zetadox is going to do is, since most scanners are actually going to create a single PDF document, I could type, is it's going to scan it to a network folder, but rather than a single PDF, we are going to split those into individual files. So as you can see here, the stack of documents I scanned in has been separated into individual files that will be associated to the relevant, in this case, purchase invoice. So here you can see the vendor invoice that we had come in. the barcode sticky label that April placed at the top. Once those are scanned, and this could be a batch that kicks off in the middle of the evening if you're on 2015 or 2016. For users on older systems, all that's needed is someone would need to, once or twice a day, come in and click the Archive All Linked Items. And now Datadocs behind the scenes is going to go ahead and process all of these documents. Today I've shown them with vendor invoices. I've also had instances where people have archived proof of delivery documents, and one of them estimates that they save about an hour to an hour and a half each day in using Datadocs versus manually filing that paper information. Now, all of these documents have been processed and linked to the appropriate transaction within the system. So now, no matter what client someone's using, if they're using the web client or the tablet client, the phone client, they would have access to this information. And it's really nice for finance teams because no longer are you, tied to the office because you need that supporting documentation and paper files. With a solution like Datadocs, it's going to allow those teams to have the option of working remotely. So with that, that's kind of the overview I had planned. I'm going to turn things back over to Loretta.
Thanks, Mitch. So guys, I see we haven't had any questions as we've been going, but now is a chance if you have any questions with regards to the features or the demo. This is a perfect opportunity for you to ask. Greg, I don't know if you can unmute the audience, or if they want to type, that's totally fine as well.
Okay, now's your chance, just like Loretta said, if you have any questions whatsoever, just type your question into the chat box. We do have some minutes left over that we could talk about anything you saw today, or just questions about Equisys and document management in general.
And one thing which I just wanted to mention, Greg, just while people may be typing information in, is the fact that during the demo I forgot to mention I've done several presentations at various customer meetings, whether they be NAV or customer days that partners have done, or webinars like Greg's hosting today. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is also the cost of storage. With Datadocs, we're storing all of this documentation electronically, and I've spoken with some of our customers that before using Datadocs, they had everything stored in a paper filing system, and one of them estimated that they were spending approximately $35,000 a year in rent just for that paper storage. Now, Datadocs isn't going to eliminate that overnight, but over the course of the next 7 years, they're going to slowly be able to remove those paper files and take back that valuable office space. So something else to consider when you're looking at a document management solution.
And guys, if you have questions that you think of later on, it's totally fine for you to actually email those in through. Greg, can you make me presenter again, please?
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, I can see your screen now, yep.
Perfect. So, as I say, if you guys think of questions a little bit later, that's totally fine for you to be able to send those to me. My email address is lholloway@usa.equisys.com, and of course you've got Greg's as well. If you're not using Datadocs at the moment, I'd love to be able to talk to your team a little bit more about your needs. As I say, this is a group call, so you may not want to have that discussion here. But if you want to have it with your team, I'd be happy to have a one-to-one call with yourself. And if you want to download version 8, then contact your account manager at Columbus. You'll need to have an active technical support contract or technical support and software maintenance contract in order to have access to this. But as I say, it's not speak now or never. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them later.
Okay, I guess there's maybe no questions, so I just want to take this time to thank everyone for attending. Thank you so much for presenting. We will be sending out a email follow-up after we end this call. And once again, everyone have a great afternoon, great rest of the day. Thank you.